Hi and welcome to another video. I've just recently done a vodka reflux column run. It suddenly occurred to me I haven't done a specific video displaying or explaining how I make my cuts on a reflux column and how I make my cuts on a pot still. So I thought I'd put that video together for you. Now, as you can see, I've got a lot of different jars in front of me. Now, these have all been resting for 3 or 4 days with a paper towel on top, just letting the odours sort of relax and neutralise or whatever. And I find it beneficial to do this because it helps you to make a more distinguished choice when you're actually getting into making your cuts. Now, even with just taking these paper towels off the top of these bowls here, I'm getting a whiff of stronger spirits coming through. But I'll explain my methodology. If it's reflux, we're not going to worry too much about making accurate cuts at the top or the tail, because I'm going to run it through a carbon filter. Now, first off, you'll notice I've got a couple of jars here which are more full than the others. Now, if I had to center into the perfect jar in all of this, as far as the perfect hearts with no odor, it will be this one here. That's probably one of the best ones there. This one here, a slight smell of the heads in there, but definitely these, very acetonish and something you don't really want. Now, as we go further down here, that's still very neutral. A slight tone of wet socks, wet cardboard as we get closer to the tails. Getting more pungent, more. So, if I'm going to make a separation, let's work from the tails up to the heads. These ones here, I'm putting over here. They're definitely unsavoury. That's not too bad. These ones here are going to influence the flavour of the overall mix. Now let's work on the heads down. Now the first one, even after a few days of airing, strong acetone smell. Definitely you don't want that smell in your mix. Don't want that smell in your mix. No, that's still the same. Now, when I was actually, as you can see, I use a lot of jars, and I suggest you should do the same in small quantities and don't lose track of which jar is which. But when I was doing this, I was happy with the first bit of spirit that came in here. It has a slight tinge of this, but only a little bit. I was happy with the first bit, so I let it continue, knowing that I was getting into the hearts. And so basically, out of this whole wash, I have actually got those, which I am going to be putting through, bringing up to 40% alcohol by volume, and then putting through a carbon filter. Now, how do you distinguish between a vodka run and a spirits run? For example, a spirits run with whiskey, where you want to retain some of the flavour in the mix that you're doing as a pot still run. Well, for starters, every one of these jars, you can see how there's a certain amount in them. Make it a smaller amount, so you can actually make the differentiating cut by sniff and taste if you want, because remember, you're going for a taste with a scotch or a grain whiskey or whatever you want to do. But don't do a large batch like this, because this one, as I said, is going through a carbon filter. But you may very well end up with less than this, maybe half of that, that you might actually want to keep if you're going through for example, a corn liquor run through a pot still. So the only thing different I do between a reflux column distill and a pot still distill, that's hard to say, is basically I gather a little bit more than what I normally would in reflux because I know if it's going to be vodka, I know I'm going to be able to carbon filter it and make a nice suitable product out of it. But I'll be very happy to actually have less than that in a grain mix. It's just the way I do it. I know people who put nearly all of theirs into the end product. I personally don't like that. So this is just the way that I do it. So hopefully that's been able to help you. This is what I'm going to be saving and bringing up to 40% volume, alcohol by volume, and carbon filtering it. And yeah, hope you got something out of it.